Okay, this is week 10, chapter 19, CSF4203, Computer Networks and Security Techniques. We talked that VPN makes your network connection secure. VPN relies on IPsec or Internet Protocol. Okay. IPsec provides three functions: authentication, confidentiality, and key management. So these are the functions provided by IPsec. You studied this in crypto, right? Cryptography course. Did you study about IPsec? Little bit covered. Yeah, encryption. Okay. Now, in this chapter, we are covering IPsec version 3. We will do a lab, by the way, on IPsec. ESP supports two modes of use. Transport mode. This is good for the upper layer protocols, for the protecting your upper layer protocols, like what? Application layer. Okay. Tunnel mode provides protection for the entire IP packet because everything is going through a tunnel. Okay. From one point to an IP network to another point on the network, all encrypted inside the tunnel. Okay. So it will be slower, of course. And it is used when at least one of the two ends is a security gateway, such as firewall or router that has IPsec. So here we have scope of the ESP encryption and authentication. Here you have your IP version 4, the originating IP header, the original IP header, sorry. Then you have the TCP header and you have your data. This is your IP version 4. This is in the transport mode. Okay, you see here you have the encrypted. You have authentication also provided. So the header is increased, right? The control bits are increased because you are providing authentication and encryption. Okay. And this is using the tunnel. You see more control header, more control bits on tunnel. Heavy. For key management, okay, key management involves the determination and distribution of secret keys. The IPsec architecture document mandates support for two types of key management. We have manual key management. This is good if you have small network. But if you have big network, it's not efficient at all. You have to use automated key management. All right? So because it's more flexible and it needs less effort. IPsec is essential for VPN to secure your VPN. Okay? And VPN is providing very useful benefits for the WAN and LAN infrastructure to secure their communication. And with IPsec, managers have a standardized means of implementing security for VPN. Okay? IPsec can be implemented in routers or firewalls owned and operated by the organization. The network manager has full control on IPsec and VPN because you can implement it on your equipments and in your LAN and WAN. This is the SSL protocol stack. So we have IP, TCP, then SSL. Okay, SSL stands for what? Secure Socket Layer. Okay, and on top, this is for securing your communication. And we talked about before, if you remember, we talked about the TCP/IP layers, data access. We talked about network, transport, application, Now we are adding some layers for security. So this is a model for security. Understood?
SSL is part of the
Secure socket layer for your IPsec and VPN to work. Okay. And then you have on top of it HTTP, SSL handshake protocol, and so on. SSL architecture. SSL record protocol provides basic security services to various higher level protocols, such as HTTP. Okay. We have 3 higher level protocols defined as part of SSL: handshake, change cipher spec protocol, and alert protocol. These are all part of SSL. That's why SSL provides security. Okay, we are not going to configure SSL, but you need to know what it's doing. What is it? Okay. So it's all about security. This is the SSL record. Okay, so you have encryption, you add the MAC address, you have compression. Okay. Then you add header. So let's talk a little bit about the handshake. It allows the servers and client to authenticate each other and negotiate an encryption and MAC algorithm and cryptographic keys. This is done by the handshake. So they exchange their cryptographic. Finished, Majid? خلصت? Submitted? Thank you. Thank you. Used before any application data are transmitted. Of course, they have to authenticate each other, then they can communicate. Handshake protocol phases. We have phase 1, used to initiate a logical connection and to establish security capabilities. Second phase is depends on the underlying public key encryption scheme. And in some cases, the server passes a here. Sometimes they use certificates. At phase 3, client sends one or more messages back to the server after verifying certificate. At phase 4, complete the setting up of a secure connection by signaling to both parties that the exchange has been successful. Wi-Fi protected access, WPA. It's following Wi-Fi standards, and it is based on the 802.11i standard. These are all telecommunication standard by IEEE. So WPA relies on 802.11i. This is the security, Shabab. You know about WPA for Wi-Fi. Okay. It was used for authentication, key management, and data transfer privacy. This is how it works. You have your station, you have your access point, like here, and then you have another authentication server. Okay, so you communicate directly with the access point, and through the access point, you do authentication on the server. Any questions? Now let's talk about some intrusion detections. What is the meaning of intrusion detection? It will detect if there is an attempt for an intruder to attack your system before it happens. So it is a security intrusion is a security event or a combination of multiple security events that constitutes a security incident. Okay. Intrusion detection, a security service that monitors and analyzes system event to find out if some intrusion happened or not. We have different type of intrusion detection systems, or IDS. They are classified as either host-based IDS. I remember there was a question in the exam about this last semester. Host-based IDS, so monitors single host. Network-based IDS, it monitors the network traffic for particular network and analyze the network traffic, okay? And intrusion detection system has some sensors or logical components. They rely to work on some logical components such as sensors, analyzers, and user interface. Okay. The user interface is a dashboard, some application that will show you the alerts. It will show you graphical representation of the system.
Like the big data analysis.
Yeah, it will. You have a dashboard. Yeah, like in Windows, you have a dashboard. Okay. Analyzers, they receive the input from the sensors and analyze it. They display the result on the dashboard or user interface. So how does it work? If an intrusion is detected, the system will identify what is this intruder, okay? And it will not allow it to enter the system, okay? And it will fix if there is any compromised ports or anything happened. It will fix it. That's the best scenario, okay? But if you also have a good IDS, it will be a deterrent. If you have good IDS, it will be deterrent. Someone trying to attack your system, if they know that, oh, you have a good IDS, they will not try to attack your system. Yeah. And intrusion detection enables the collection of information about intrusion techniques that can be used to strengthen intrusion prevention measures, of course. The host-based intrusion detection techniques, as I mentioned, it is for host. It adds a specialized layer of security software to a vulnerable or sensitive system. If you are really worried about one system, one host, you can do this, okay? And it will monitor the activity of that system to find if there is any suspicious behavior. It will detect intrusion, log suspicious events. The main benefit is that it can detect both external and internal intrusion. If someone internally in the department or wants to intrude your system. That's the host-based intrusion detection system technique. Firewall. Where is the firewall inserted in your network? It is in the premises. It is between the internet and intranet and your network, at the premises, at the border. Okay? It will monitor all the traffic from inside to outside because it will go through the firewall, so it will control. Only authorize the traffic that is defined and allowed to be enter your network. Okay? Also, the firewall by itself is also immune to penetration. It should be protected. You see, it takes time now. Yeah. Firewall techniques, we have service control. It will depend the type of internet services that is allowed or not allowed. Direction control. What should be allowed to flow through the firewall, in or out, outbound or inbound. User control, according to the user. It will control according to the user. We have behavior control. It controls how certain services are used. This is very advanced. So I know that, okay, Microsoft Office, they will open some Word files and work on them. Microsoft Office will not delete executable files or create executable files, you know, then I know that there's a problem. All right? In or out. Inbound yani in, outbound yani out. Yeah. like the bridge when you go on traffic, inbound or outbound. These are the types of firewall summary, what we mentioned there. They put it in this. This is your firewall you see in the middle. It is at the between the external, the internet, and your intranet or internal network. This is your firewall. Okay. We have packet filtering firewall. It will detect, it will filter according to the packet. We have stateful inspection firewall. We have application proxy firewall. So it will allow application or deny application. And we have circuit level proxy firewall. Okay. So these are the types of firewalls. Just hold on, please. All right, so these are the last few slides. We will talk about antivirus approaches. We have prevention. You should prevent. You should put antivirus. You should detect if a virus enters or malware. Then identify what type, what is the best remedy for this virus, and then you need to remove it. And then the cycle goes on like this. Prevention, detection, identification, removal. Once a worm is, what's the problem with worms? They are very dangerous because once a worm is resident on a machine, it can propagate through your network. Okay. It does not need to reside on the PC. It will go through the network. That's why it's dangerous. But your antivirus should be able to detect it if it's up to date. Okay. The problem with worm is it affects your bandwidth because it will travel through the network. It will propagate through the network media. Okay. Network activity and usage monitoring can be helpful to know if there is a worm. If I can see sudden spike in my network usage, traffic, then there is a worm. Okay. The worm countermeasures focus either on to identifying suspected worm content or identifying traffic pattern. Yani I know that my traffic in the afternoon is not very high, but if it's suddenly becoming high, then I know that there is a problem. Let us have a short break now, Shabab.